Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode one of the most powerful, most compact forms of Persian poetry out there, the Rubai. We're talking about a tiny poem that packs a whole universe of meaning into just 4 lines. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of what Rubai is, let's just feel one. This is from the master Omar Khayyam. In just 2 beats, you get this whole story of creation, beauty, and then bam, sudden, senseless destruction. And that's the kind of punch, the kind of poetry we're going to unpack. All right, so what exactly is this incredible little form that can hold so much weight in so few words? Let's break it down. At its most basic level, a rubai is a quartet. It's a poem of 4 lines, or as they're called in Persian, 4 misra. Now, what's really interesting is that the name itself comes from the Arabic word for 4, but the form, that's considered by many to be a uniquely Persian invention. But here's the thing. It's not just any 4 lines thrown together. Its real power, its magic, lies in a very specific and elegant structure. Think of it like a carefully built machine designed to deliver an idea with maximum impact. You know, the original, the older form, was super simple and incredibly powerful. All 4 lines rhyme together. It creates this very satisfying, complete sound, like a perfectly sealed box of thought. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. But the one you'll run into most of the time, it does something really clever. It leaves that 3rd line hanging, unrhymed. And this tiny change is genius because it creates this moment of suspense. It's like the poet takes a deep breath before that final line comes crashing in, bringing the rhyme home and landing the point. And it's not just about the rhyme scheme either. A rubai is like a tiny 4-act play. Line 1 introduces an idea. Line 2 builds on it. Line 3, especially that unrhymed one, that's the pivot, the turn, the moment of reflection. And then line 4, well, that's the final strike. It delivers the entire purpose of the poem in one unforgettable blow. Okay, let's get into the weeds a bit, because this is where it can get a little tricky if you're new to this. There's another famous 4-line Persian poem, the Dubaiti, and it looks almost exactly like a rubai. So you're looking at a 4-line poem. It's got that A-A-B-A rhyme scheme. How on earth do you tell what you're actually reading? How do you know if it's a rubai or a dobiti? Well, it really boils down to 2 things. The first is the vibe, the content. Rubaiyats tend to wrestle with those big, heavy, philosophical or mystical ideas. Dobietis, on the other hand, are usually more lyrical, more personal. Think love, sorrow, that kind of thing. But the real giveaway? It's something you can actually hear. It's a subtle but critical difference in their rhythm. And listen, you do not need to be a poetry expert to catch this. There's a simple little trick, a secret handshake, if you will, and it's all in the very first word of the poem. Okay, listen to the start of this dobiti. The first syllable, ta, in tabum. Hear how quick and light that is? Tabum. It just has this breezy, lyrical feel right from the very first beat. Now compare that to this rubai. Hear that first sound? A. It's long, it's drawn out. A sahib. It feels weightier, more deliberate. And that right there is the secret. Short first syllable? Probably a dobite. Long first syllable? You're almost certainly looking at a rubai. It's an amazing little key to unlock which poem you're hearing. So now that we've got the structure down, let's talk about what these poems are actually about. This potent 4-line form became the perfect vehicle for poets to tackle some of life's biggest questions. In the classical era, the rubai really became the go-to container for 3 huge themes, grappling with the mysteries of the universe, expressing that deep yearning for the divine, and of course, capturing the heart's most intense emotions. You have poets like the legendary Omar Khayyam, who just mastered this. He'd pose these massive philosophical puzzles about fate and free will and the meaning of it all, and somehow contain them perfectly within those 4 tight lines. And then you've got the mystics, the Sufi poets like Rumi and Attar. For them, the rubai became this vessel for expressing the soul's intense, sometimes agonizing desire to connect with the divine. It's both a prayer and a cry, all in one. And of course, there's love. I mean, even the earliest poets like Rudaki used it to capture these raw, powerful emotions. Look at this one. It's just devastating, right? If the pain of him being gone is this bad, can you even imagine the joy of him being here? Wow. But here's what's so cool about the rubai.
This is not some dusty old form that's stuck in a museum. It is very much alive, it's breathing, and it's evolving right now, in the modern world.
You can actually trace this modern revival through the last century. It really kicks off with Nima Yushij, who brought a new energy to the form. And then a whole new generation carried that torch forward, filling these old four-line poems with modern language and themes of war, society, and identity. And this is where it gets really fun. Today's poets use the Rubai to talk about modern life in ways that are just startling and fresh. Just look at this example. Using the language of a grocery store, per kilo, to ask this incredibly deep question about love and pain, that's just brilliant. It's witty, it's modern, and it still delivers that classic killer fourth-line punch. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. The Rubai is more than just a poetic form. It's a challenge. It's proof that the biggest, most profound ideas don't always need 1,000 words to be heard. Sometimes all it takes are 4 perfect lines. So that leaves me with one question for you. If you had just 4 lines, what truth would you tell?